Hey everyone, welcome to the C&J Art and Adventure channel. So this time I went to La Botica del Angel, or the Angel's Apothecary, and this is a small theater in the Montserrat neighborhood of Buenos Aires. And it was created in 1966 by the actor and costume designer Eduardo Bergera Leoman. So he got his start in the 1950s in theater doing directing and costume design. And then he went on to acting, and then he also went on to television, and he did movies here and in Europe, and he started this space in 1966, and it was meant to be a space for alternative theater and art exhibitions. And all over the theater you'll see memorabilia and artwork by some of the most famous actors and musicians and artists from Argentina. And as you can see, like, every inch of this place is covered in something. Like, there's something to see everywhere you look. And I really wish I was more familiar with the actors and the theater and movies of Argentina, but I have to admit I only know like the most famous actors, like of course Ricardo Darín and that guy with the big nose, Diego Peretti. So, and like Charlie Garcia and Soda Stereo. And as far as theater actors go, I don't know anyone. So I can't really tell you much about the history of Argentinian theater, though I do really love theater and I am really interested in theatrical history. But I've only seen like one theatrical work here, the theatrical version of the musical The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was blown away by how good it was. But that's the only one I've seen here so far anyway. So this space, so they didn't do traditional plays here or works by Shakespeare and all that. They did more like improv, and the actors themselves would greet the people as they entered the theater. They would help to sit them down. They would give them wine and donuts and even water to wash their hands in. And they would also involve them with the theatrical work. So even if audience members were very shy or not into performing at all, the actors would somehow be able to involve them in the production, so that by the end of it they felt like they had really been part of the theatrical work that night. So that sounds really interesting. I don't know if I would have wanted to do that. Like, I am so shy, you know. Yeah, that sounds terrifying. But it does sound really interesting, and it's a bit of Argentinian history that maybe most people outside of Argentina are completely unfamiliar with. Like, you just don't associate Argentina with improv, you know, or even alternative theater. But yeah, this country is endlessly interesting. I mean, that's why I live here. Well, one of the reasons why I live here. So this building is actually an abandoned church, which is why the front of the building looks the way it does, and why it's so pretty. Like, I really would have loved to have seen the other floors and the inner courtyard, but I think you have to reserve a tour for that, and I didn't know that because when I went there to visit the museum, those parts were closed. But the inner courtyard is really pretty, so you can imagine what the rest of the spaces must look like. I think there's even a cafe up there, if I'm not mistaken. Also, the actor who created all this, Eduardo Bergara Leoman, also had his private apartment on the top floor, and he also died there in 2008. So I can just imagine his spirit like haunting this place. I would not be surprised if he was still there. Okay, so I did do a little bit of research into the creator of this theater, Eduardo Vergara Leoman, for this video. And he sounds like he was a really interesting guy. He won a lot of awards for his work, for acting, for his painting and drawing, for his work in tango, and for his lifetime career. For example, he won the Premio Magia del Cometa Mágico, or the Magic Prize of the Magical Comet, for his career. I mean, I would love to win a prize like that. And aside from working with basically everybody in the acting world in his day here in Argentina, he also was able to work with people like Federico Fellini, Malcolm McDowell, Raquel Welch, and Andy Warhol. So he had a really amazing career. You know, I would have loved to have seen one of his plays. I would not have loved to have participated, even though it sounds like he would have been able to get me up there, because his methods for getting even the most reluctant audience members to participate was so good that it was even studied by therapists and psychologists who were developing the therapy of psychodrama. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So this place is pretty small, but like I said, nearly every inch of it is covered in something, like some kind of photograph or drawing or painting or some kind of prop. Like a lot of the things on display there look like they had been used in productions, and costumes, awards, and so on, and all having to do with music, theater, of course, with literature and fine arts. It's like this time capsule from 1967 onwards, and covering nearly every artistic discipline in Argentina. So it's a pretty amazing place. So every object in here is a memory of some kind. It's like a memory of a performance or a friendship or something, you know, like every object has some kind of meaning. Every object, I bet, could tell a great story. So when I first went to this museum, I didn't know any of its history, who created it, who performed there, what was performed there, nothing. And now I can say I really do admire the creator of this place. I mean, what a life. What an amazing life, you know, especially as a fellow artist, I really admire what he achieved. And the fact that he was able to work in so many disciplines. I mean, set design, costume design, acting, theater acting, television, movies, and all of it recorded in this one place, you know? I mean, it's pretty amazing. So if you're ever in Buenos Aires and you have any interest in theater or the fine arts, I highly recommend you visit this museum because it's amazing and really beautiful. And thank you so much for watching this video, and hope to see you next time. Ciao!